Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Erica B, and today we're going to be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episodes 6 and 7. Okay, now I didn't do an episode last week because when I watched it, it was just very boring for me. There was a lot of redundancy going on, a constant producer-provoked conversations that made it kind of ingestible. There was only like one or two things that we found out about each couple, and so I figured that, you know, because it was so like repetitive, I could just go ahead and do a combination video with 6 and 7, right? Listen, I did not see the Lauren and Orion drama coming to this extent. Like, I knew something was brewing, but I didn't know the pot was going to spill over. Okay, I really didn't. And so for that reason, I am going to be doing this video specifically focusing on their drama, and then shortly after I will upload a video recapping the other couples from episode 6 and 7, and then hopefully from there we should go back to one review per episode. Okay, for the folks that are new to this season, I understand a lot of people didn't initially start watching this season because they felt like it had a boring beginning. It was very dull. Maybe it wasn't enough black people for some of y'all. And so now that we're having this drama with Lauren, I'm noticing an influx of interest. And so for this video, I also will be going back to episode 1, starting with the applicant process, so that you guys can see exactly where things went wrong with this couple. I noticed when I was doing my research, going back to the beginning, all the signs were there. All the signs were there. Okay, and I feel like a lot of us miss the small details in the applicant process, and so for that reason I am going to be talking about it. Okay, this video might get a little lengthy, but I promise, as usual, the commentary will be good. Okay, if you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe. If you've already been tuning in, you haven't done so, please do so. Liking the video, subscribing to the channel would allow others just like you who are interested in this show, interested in commentary on maths, to also see my videos. Okay, so I really would appreciate that. Without further ado, let's get into the video. After watching this episode, I was triggered. I was triggered because a lot of what Lauren was feeling was very familiar to me. I know a black woman, right, who is trying to suppress her feelings, who's trying to, you know, constantly consider her tone, right, because she doesn't want to be portrayed as an angry black woman. Okay, I know it when I see it. And in episode 6 and 7, it was very apparent Lauren was fighting for her life. You know, she was doing a very good job of, you know, communicating exactly how she was feeling. But, you know, you could see it. You could see she had more she wanted to say and give in the moment, but she just didn't. So how did Lauren and Orion get here? Remember when I told y'all everything that we see and hear on this show, every comment, every facial expression, every conversation, it is all intentional, okay? It all is a part of a bigger picture, right? And their storyline. We have 5 couples, an hour to an hour and a half per episode. Listen, they are purposely making sure we hear what they want us to hear and see what they want us to see. And, you know, it do make for good television, but sometimes it can be deceptive, and we're going to go over that. Okay. So with that being said, Lauren and Orion gave all the language, okay, all the statements early in the show, which is why I went back to episode 1. And let me tell you something, it was very telling. Actually, looking back at the whole episode 1, it was very clear who they were going to pick. In the moment, you don't realize it, but if you go back and watch, we were hearing all the interviewing questions from the actual people they picked, and they threw a couple strays in there just to kind of throw us off a little bit. And I will say it was a lot of Chloe in there, the one who allegedly was the one who left Michael at the altar. We saw her quite a bit as well, right? Let's start with the applicant process. Okay, at this point, this is where Orion feels like Lauren should have immediately started abstaining from sex. Okay, the moment she recorded that video and emailed it off to the MAFS casting directors is when she should have put a chamber lock on, okay, and threw away the key or hid it for Orion, period. That's what he assumes. Even though we know that this was a very lengthy process, and based off context clues, Orion saying that he abstained from sex for 1.5 years because he wanted to be intentional in the process, it's giving the whole process took up to 1.5 years for them to get picked. Okay? And he feels like she should have done the same thing that he did, even though she didn't even know this man exists. She didn't even know she was going to get picked. Okay? This is where, again, Orion felt like Lauren should have began abstaining from sex. After going through all the audition videos, right, they're beginning to choose potentials, okay? And it's pretty obvious that there's just not a lot of black folk, okay? Remember I told y'all it's about 65,000 Colorado cousins, aka black people, in Denver, in that city. And when we were going through the videos, I noted about 3.5 black men because there was a biracial in there. Okay. And then I noticed about 6 or 7 black women. Okay. This is a really good representation of Denver in general, as it is 2 men to every 1 woman there. Okay. One of the applicants even said that like it's nicknamed Menver for that reason. So as you know, the applicant process is going on, we're getting the feeling that they like Lauren. We're seeing her quite a bit. And so we pretty much have an idea they're considering her. However, the only black man that we see who gets a home visit is Ed. Now, Ed is a 30-year-old sales rep who lives with someone. And I'm suspecting it was his mother because they have like 7 cats. Okay, so immediately no, right? They were like, no. Now for this part of the video, I am going to be looking down. I have notes because I have specific quotes that I want to recite so that you guys can understand exactly who these 2 are, okay? So after we see that, listen, we're not gonna have no black men on the show, right? But we might have a black woman, right? They introduce us to Orion. Okay, and these are some of the statements that he made during the applicant process and the home visit. The first one is the most telling to me, which is why I say like we missed some of the smaller details, but this one is very telling to me. Okay, and he says, "I've never found what speaks to me. It feels like I've been searching my whole life." Yeah. That one was very telling to me because Orion is having an identity crisis. Y'all like, what? No, he's not. He knows he's indigenous. He's having an identity crisis. And I hate to tell y'all to hold on tight for it, but I promise you, I'm going to bring it all home for you. Okay? Keep that one in mind. He also says, when referring to being indigenous, quote, "As a community, the goal is to change the world one person at a time. I never hesitate to do my part in that." Sounds like somebody who likes to overeducate, you know, the folks, right? Which is what he's been doing the whole time he's been on the show. He has not missed, only once. Actually, he missed once. But for the most part, he hasn't missed an opportunity to tell us about his community, okay? Orion is given he's on assignment. He's on assignment, and you know, he is speaking for everybody indigenous while he's on this show. When asked what cultures he feels most comfortable with, he says, quote, "In terms of comfort and attraction, I definitely lean more towards dark complected women." Y'all, this statement in itself is a red flag for me. I'm sick. I missed it before. I'm sick. I missed it before because I was too busy focusing on why Lauren wanted a man when, her situation, which we're going to talk about too. But I'm sick. I missed it before because for a man who is so proud of being indigenous, he wants a black woman. Listen, him and Lauren both, I think it's very odd that they are so proud of their cultures, their communities, where they came from, but both are not set on replicating it. Right? Because if you're so proud, don't you want to see it in your children? Like I get DNA, but don't you want your children to look like you? Orion is biracial, okay? And remember, he didn't tell us that. Bronte did, okay? But Orion is also white passing. So I say that because wouldn't that give him even more of an incentive to want to be with and mate with an indigenous woman? Like, why does, him want to respect, which is why he don't, date or marry within his race? Why does that trump the need to replicate indigenous children? Mind you, this country is only 2% indigenous. Okay, so you get where I'm going with this? If you love being indigenous so much, why are you not dating indigenous women? Why are you not committing to continuing the bloodline? Remember, he said the word was never. He said he never dated within his race, within his culture. We'll say within his culture because Orion don't want to accept it seemed like, but that man is a white man too, okay? He is half white, okay? Or Bronte done told on your ass. So it's like he don't want to address that part of him. Let me keep going. Let me keep going, and I'm not going to let that slip. We're going to go back to it. He says, when it comes to culture, something that I have dealt with being indigenous, I don't want my wife to treat me like a shiny little diamond. He goes on to tell that his ex would tell people that, oh, he's indigenous and that's all he was. It's so ironic, right? Because that's all he presents himself as on the show. Now, like I said, it do feel like he's overcompensating. I just think it's weird that he is saying that his ex that's all he was to her. Listen, again, and I hate to keep saying it like this, but Orion is very white passing. You see this man, and I'll upload a picture right here. When you see him, it's giving Caucasian. I wouldn't have if I was just passing up the street or at the gas station and I saw this man, I would just think he a white man. I'm sorry. I would. Okay. So the fact that she had to tell people that it's not very obvious. And he's saying he didn't like that. And I just find it, kind of hard to believe because he is leading with this on the show. When asked if he sees his wife and she isn't what he expected, how would he handle that? He goes on to say that, his most meaningful relationships develop from talking to each other. So he didn't answer it for real, but he basically saying, even if she don't, look like what I would like her to look like, if she's not attractive to me, maybe he'll build a connection, an emotional connection, and he'll learn to like her that way. I could see that because I do feel like that's what Lauren was doing with him. Remember, Lauren didn't compliment this man until like episode 4. Episode 3 or 4, we finally heard her compliment him. When asked, what is the personality of the woman that would make him happy? That was a good ass question, okay? That was a really good question. And I feel like he didn't answer it correctly. He said that she would be extroverted like him. And he mentioned like trying new hobbies. Now it's giving on this part. I don't know if I can fault him because it's giving he may have gave a full answer because remember, Orion do like to talk. It's giving that production may have edited his whole answer out and only put in the stuff that resonated with Lauren. Then when they asked about the sex question, the controversial part for y'all folks is Orion said that he went on a date with a man and the man kissed him and he wasn't for it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about his identity crisis that I think is playing a part in this confusion. I want to say right now that I'm going to try not to get canceled before I even get 100 followers, okay? But also, this is my channel. This is my opinion. And so it's not to be taken for fact. This is just how your girl thinks through things and how I've been thinking through these two in their situation. Okay, that's my little disclaimer. All right, one of the things I think is going on with Orion is he is having an identity crisis. I mean, he's literally going through the stages of a 15-year-old boy. He's looking for something, but he don't know what it is. It feel like, based off his comment, he don't know what it is. So this man, he's overcompensating being indigenous. One. Two, he's not even the one who told us he biracial. Remember I told you Orion got an issue with white people. Now, I ain't straight up call him a racist now. But he do have an issue with white folk. And I think it has something to do with the fact that the man is half white. He don't even address that his daddy is Caucasian. And that leads up to one of the other issues was wrong is Orion got daddy issues. Okay. Remember when he was talking to Lauren's brother, he said, well, I had a dad. And when he left, it made him want to be a protector. Okay. First of all, a dad. Yeah, he got daddy issues. Lauren was actually telling them that, she wants him to feel like he belongs. She wants him to feel like he belongs. And Bronte said, ooh, that's important. Because being biracial, we grew up on the reservation and now we're here in Denver. Yeah, Denver's 68% white. But they're having an identity crisis. I'm just thinking through it, y'all. I'm just thinking through it because I see what is going on, but I also can't give you too much because there's other things that's going on here too. Okay, so let's pause on Orion and let's go to Lauren. Some of the statements that Lauren said during the applicant process. Okay, the first one is when she was asked about her sex life, she said it's a 0. So keep that in mind. Like, he had not been picked for the show yet. But obviously Orion don't agree. When asked what if her partner explored the same sex, she says it's okay because she's explored. Y'all, Lauren has done more than just explore. Okay, she has done more than just explore with women. When asked about her pride of culture, she says there are few things that I love more than being black. Baby, I'm with you when you're right, period. My good said, there's very few things that I love more than being a black girly. Listen, I'm going to keep that one. Okay. She went on to say, it's important to marry someone who understands my identity and culture because I want them to feel that type of pride in their culture, in their skin. Okay. Period. I'm with it. I'm with you when you write, sis. Okay. When asked if there is a world where that could happen with someone who isn't black, she took a minute to answer. Yeah, she took a minute to answer. This is why you don't settle, ladies. You cannot tell me that Pastor Cal and them didn't know that Lauren wanted a black man. Now, my homegirl said Lauren said she wanted a black man. She didn't. She didn't. Trust me. I watched it all. She never told. If she did, they didn't put it in the show. We didn't see that footage. Okay. She kind of insinuated she wanted a black man. I mean, come on now. She's not like Orion. Orion is prideful. Listen, indigenous all the way. But give me a black woman. Give me somebody completely outside my race. Lauren, Not so much. Lauren says she's blackety black. My good sis says she went to black private school. She celebrate Kwanzaa. Listen, she loves the black experience, the culture. She want to share it with somebody else. Shit, you know. But did she say she wants to date outside of her race? No. Pastor Cal introduced that idea to her, and he told her that he wanted her to be open to all possibilities of love. He brought it up. Lauren said that dating in Denver lacks color, and that's why it's difficult. Keep that in mind, okay? Because Pastor Cal gonna lie on this girl. Hold on. Pastor Cal says he doesn't want her to feel like she's being pushed into something, okay? If that was the case, Lauren would be marrying a woman. Yeah, I'm pretty set into the idea that Lauren would prefer to be with a woman. So, Lauren says, I'm comfortable with that, but just enough uncomfortable to be curious. So, she is uncomfortable. Like, and we know when she go to talk to her friends later, they mentioned that Lauren has never dated out. She's never dated out. Okay? When asked if they find a guy for her, what qualities would she want him to have? She says, this part was very intentional on production. Okay? And I'm going to just go ahead and tell y'all right now so y'all can follow me. Production is on Lauren's side. She said, we don't have to have a similar sense of humor. But if we're making each other laugh, that's big for me because laughter is just, she pauses, I seek it. She seeks laughter, right? If we can laugh off through the good times, it will just make this process smoother, not just for the 8-week process, but our marriage. This is very intentional on production's behalf. They're setting the play, y'all. We just didn't see it. Okay, we didn't see the play, but now we see the execution. Remember, everything is a part of the bigger picture. Everything is a part of the bigger picture. Okay, she also says that she wants someone who is attentive. She says her past partners didn't have the amount of care that she needed. Okay, and she says that she needs to know that he has her back. This would explain why Lauren was so upset when she was talking to Claire, because she heard Orion telling, who I believe was production, that she didn't have his back. So it makes sense why she was so offended by the statement, right? Because having one's back is important to my good sis. When the experts are choosing the couples, Pastor Cal is saying all these great things about Lauren, and then he adds that she's a little settled with needing someone who can identify with her experiences and cultures. I feel like this was a reach. Okay? And I feel like this is where the deception kind of began a little bit on the experts' behalf, okay? Lauren wasn't the one who was adamant about this. Orion was. She said it was important to marry someone who understood it, but she didn't say that they necessarily had to be non-black. I'm saying all this to say that it's pretty obvious that my good sis would have wanted to marry a black man. It is. Shortly after that statement, Pastor Cal introduces the interracial marriage, okay? This is not a preference for Lauren. It's a preference for Orion. Orion is the one who specifically said, I want a black woman. Lauren never said, I want a non-black man. It never came from her mouth. Dr. Pia chimes in and she says that Lauren told her that emotional safety is important to her. Now, speaking of emotional safety, I'm going to go ahead and let you know this right now, that in my videos, I'm going to use therapist terms and phrases, right? Because as long as I'm using them in the right context, Nothing should be wrong with that, okay? I'm a nurse, and that's like me telling someone that they cannot refer to shitting as defecating because they don't work in the medical field. That's bullshit, y'all. It is, and so I'm gonna say what I want to say in my video. I don't care who think it's a therapist term. I've made it very clear on this channel that I ain't no therapist, that I am a nurse, and that's just that, okay? Anyway, Dr. Pia chimes in and she says that Lauren told her that emotional safety is important to her. Yeah, they had to been recorded this after the fact, because there's no way they are this on point. We're foreshadowing what's going to happen in the season. There's no way. You know what I mean? They're not even with the couples 24/7 to have this information. So yeah, it's definitely given after the fact for me. This is where I'm drinking coffee, y'all, a little ASMR. But yes, this is the part where Pastor Cal kind of pissed me off. He says Lauren has been having difficulty with dating because of her sexuality. He says it's difficult for her to find someone who will accept all that she is. I could see that, but I never heard Lauren say that. And I feel like if that was what it is, they should have included the footage. So Pastor Cal, I'm asking for the receipts. Now, do I agree that Lauren has a complicated dating history? Yes. Do I think that Lauren has a complicated sexuality? Yes. I believe that Lauren is a lesbian. Yeah. I believe she is a full-blown lesbian, and she's calling it queer because that's kind of like a universal term for what she got going on, right? It's a blanket for her, you know, it's a safe word for what she really is, because we know Lauren told us, she told us that she likes men a little. She actually used the term a little bit more than women because of the safety and protection that they provide. Clearly, she's talking about physical safety that they provide. Okay. She also tells us that that her mother, who is now deceased, wanted her to be with a man who would make her feel safe. A man. Remember when Lauren told us that her mother was the non-judgmental parent? It's giving her mother May. Ooh, and I hate to say it like this, but listen, if your mother is the non-judgmental parent and she know you lesbian, why is she encouraging you to marry a man? You know, now Lauren has to feel like she has to do this to honor her deceased mom. That's how I feel about it. Yeah. So I do agree with him when he says she has a difficult sexuality. But this is my thing. Lauren is getting a pass for this shit. I said it in my other videos when she called herself queer. I'm like, well, how is she queer and she marrying a man? It makes sense now. It makes sense now. But Lauren is getting a pass that no other contestant would ever get, especially a man. A man that is gay, but I only want to marry a woman because my father said that he wants to see me with a woman, right? He wants me to procreate. We would be signing petitions all throughout the internet. Y'all would be boycotting Married at First Sight for that shit. Lauren has been getting, and that's my good sis. Okay, that's my good sis, but Lauren has been getting a pass the whole season while being a lesbian woman who came on the show and married a man. Yeah. Listen, I said what I said, and I ain't taking it back, damn it. I love you, Lauren, but you is wrong, sis, and they shouldn't have let you get that pass. They go on to say we need to find her someone special, someone who is non-judgmental and who will appreciate the Black experience, honey. And Dr. Pepper is like, and we all know who that is. You know, it's Orion. So that's when they announced, like, this is the match. This is the couple. Again, with covering the tracks, Dr. Pepper says, you know, Orion is loyal to a fault. That's the first thing she said after they decided to match these two, that Orion is loyal to a fault. Yeah, I got a big cup, by the way, because it's not tea, it's coffee, but this is a lot to unpack. Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. So I had to get a big cup, honey. I couldn't even get no water. I had to get nice and, settled in so I can deliver the receipts. It's giving Wendy Williams. I love Wendy. He's way. Pastor Kel say he's hoping that these two will connect on shared experiences. I hate that we put this they put this minority couple together hoping that they would connect off of trauma and oppression. The things that Black people and indigenous people have in common is not positive things. Like, we literally have both been oppressed to the hands of colonizers and their descendants. I am not bonding with nobody over that shit. Okay? I'm not gonna do it. I'm not even looking to do it. I mean, when I'm dating, I'm not even looking for somebody that I can bond with over trauma in general. Not just like racial shit, just in general. Okay? That is not what I want to bond with my man over. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy, and it's giving that this marriage was not gonna make it from the start. We liked them together though. I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. Y'all know it. We liked Lauren and him together, but that's because we didn't see it at first. The most telling comment that was said during the choosing process that indicated that this was filmed after the fact, okay, is when Dr. Pia said, I'm gonna read it. She really wanted to find Lauren the right match. Hold on. However, there just wasn't any viable Black men in Denver who applied for the show. So they knew. Child, they knew that she wanted a Black man. They knew she wanted a Black man, but it wasn't any viable ones that actually applied for the show, because I'm sure they got some good men. That's judging off the way the other applicants is in the show. They're very hardworking, they're very fit, they're very active, they're professionals. I know that those men are in Denver. Okay, I know they're in Denver. Okay, but they didn't apply for the show, y'all. They didn't. And because of that, they should have just not chose Lauren. But see, Lauren is good for TV. She's mature. She got that money. She has a very good job. She lives by herself. She comes from good crops. She has a good family, a supportive family. Lauren is good for this show, which is why they didn't really speak enough about her sexuality. Yeah, that's why. She was good for this show, except she likes women. She was good for this show, but we're going to help her honor. I mean, that's how they made it look. We're going to help her honor her mother's wish and marry her at first sight with a man, And imagine if Orion is the type that, just don't want to be with no woman who's in a lady pond. I would understand that. The same way I would understand if Lauren didn't want to deal with Orion because he kissed a man before. Pastor Cal says if Orion is the type of man that they think he is, this would be a good match. I'm not going to dwell on that would that was said in past tense, but okay. I'm gonna give you that, Pastor Cal. My ears went off when you said it though. Okay. When referencing the age difference, remember Orion now at this time is 27 and Lauren is 31. Both of them being Sagittarius. Dr. Pia says, is he going to be receptive to feedback? Like really be able to receive information or maybe be challenged or called out on stuff? I do have concerns about that on him. Ciao. Did you really though, Dr. Pia, was that really a concern for you? Because y'all talk about leading up to this, how mature Orion is. Okay. And that's what they kind of, get back to after she made the assignment. Well, if it was any other 27-year-old, maybe, but not this one. This one's put together. This one is very mature. Child, Izzy. So I think it's funny that they made sure to put that particular statement in. And it was kind of, to me, a way to kind of like take some accountability off of the experts, because y'all know, like Cameron said in his vows, if it don't work, we can always blame the experts. They don't want to get blamed for this. So they're purposely editing in these comments to make it seem like they were aware of these things and that, you know, it was a 50-50 risk. It was a 50-50 chance. That's what they're doing. Yeah, I'm here. Okay, so Pastor Cal says, I definitely have to bring that up. Do we feel like he's ready for commitment? Absolutely not. We know now that he isn't, and they mentioned it again to take accountability off of them for choosing these two. So I'm trying to get through it. I'm sorry, y'all. but I don't want to miss nothing. Okay. So now that we know that these two are going to be together, they about to tell their families. Okay. So Orion's brother, Devin, y'all remember him? I didn't remember once I had to go back. Because to be honest, sometimes I don't be reading the bottom of the screen where they say who people is, but Orion has a red-headed brother. This brother is white, y'all. It's giving half brother from the father that left. Yeah, his name is Devin. And Devin tells Orion, quote, even though you're jumping into marriage, I think it's okay to take things slow. I think you rush things like I think you typically do in some relationships. You rush into them and you fall out of them. So basically, Devin, who looks like Orion's possible older brother, he look a little older in age than Orion, but he's telling him basically take it slow. You be rushing into stuff, and this time, you know, even though you rush and get married, just slow down. And we see that Orion does take his advice, because he really do. From this point on, he does emphasize that he do want to take it slow, you know, even when it comes to sex. Like, he wants to wait. He said it in the wedding. But if the missus wanted to get down, he would have a hard time saying no. He said it a couple times, y'all. But yeah, he took his brother's advice. But seeing the brother, it confirmed that Orion is half white. Remember, he ain't never tell us. Brianna didn't tell us either. She just told us that they biracial. But if you go back and look at episode 1, that is a 100% Caucasian man. And yeah, that's his brother. Orion says the life commitment, that's probably the biggest thing he's scared of. Okay, so ding, ding, ding. Why Pastor Cal made that statement? Is he ready for the life commitment? In confessionals, Lauren, this is when she tell us that she's not big on labels, but if she had to choose one, she would say that she's queer or maybe a floater. She then says, quote, I've always been attracted to women. I'll always be attracted to men, even outside my husband. Let's just be real. But I'll always be committed to my husband because I'm monogamous. So, I mean, she didn't lie, basically. She didn't lie. Production just kind of, they aided in minimizing the, I don't want to say severity, but the extent of her sexuality. They did. Mm-hmm. And I do see the double standard in this, because y'all ate Orion's ass up, okay, in these YouTube streets and on Instagram about kissing that man. Lauren continues to say that she wants to be safe, vulnerable, and be able to be her absolute self with her partner, okay? Whether it's her best self or her worst self, and that's what her mom would want for her. So her mom want a lot. She wanted to be all of those things. She wants her to be with a man, okay? She wants her to be with a man that makes her safe. And then she wants her to also think out the box. I can see why the experts moved the way that they moved in this case, okay? When Lauren goes to talk to her friends, however, and let them know that she's being married at first sight, they say that they're having mixed feelings, okay? One of them even say, what if it's a white man? The other one would say, like, what if he ugly? It further indicates that Lauren just don't date out. Lauren's sister-in-law says that if he's another minority, that's half the battle. They know most of the shit. She's referring to like oppression, just, you know, moving in this society, being a minority, okay? Lauren responds saying, I be adjusting, and you do. You know what? And you need to stop. She do be adjusting. The first time we see it is when you move, knowing you want to marry a black man, but you tell them that you would date out. Now listen, I don't even have a problem, just so we're clear, with interracial dating. I be interracial dating. Lauren also says, hopefully her husband is tall and fine, and there will eventually be some bomb ass sex. Okay. Now, child, she said that in front of her brother. Honey, I would never. I got 5 brothers. I never say no shit like that in front of them. Okay. But she did. And just, again, production making sure they put these, you know, small comments and statements into the show to help lead up to what is to come. Now, I don't know about fine. But Orion definitely not ugly. I told you I think he's handsome. Okay, but fine, for me, fine is Morris Chestnut. You know, for me, fine is Method Man. That's fine. Orion, not fine, but he is handsome. So now that I have reminded everyone what these two were saying in the applicant process before they even seen each other, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. It is getting a little lengthy, so there will be a part 2 I'm going to upload shortly, and then part 2 is when I'm going to dive into what happened to episode 5 leading up to episode 7. So I do apologize for that. I didn't think it was gonna go this long. It did. But yes, there will be a part 2, and so we can finish this conversation, okay?